Welcome to the Pro Networker System training program through Network After Work. We're going to be talking about how to triple your sales through networking. Networking is one of the most powerful ways to generate new business, especially for entrepreneurs, small business owners like ourselves. And so today we're going to be going through some very specific things you can do to really help you advance your business no matter what you do. So the purpose of this training is to develop your networking skills so you can generate new sales and new business for your particular industry. My name is Stephen Gregg, and I've been in sales for about a little over 30 years. And this is all I've ever done. My entire business model has been networking and generating business through networking. Now I teach how to do that, and Network After Work and myself have partnered together to really teach people that become a member of Network After Work and people that are, coming to the events, some of the different events that we put on. We're going to be teaching you skill sets so you can make that time very effective and, most importantly, productive so you can generate more income. Because I know there's a lot of people that come to Network After Work for different reasons. But this particular webinar and our training series are going to be really designed for the entrepreneur, the small business professional, the salesperson that works for a company, or anyone in between to really learn the powerful skills of how to network and generate income. So we're going to jump right in because I have a lot of meat here to teach you and to go through. So I want to start right up front saying one of the most important things you want to do is you want to create your niche. Now, a lot of people know what a niche is, but some may not understand how it works. But you got to realize this, the riches are in the niches. In other words, you want to have a niche that's a smaller niche versus big. And this is really funny because I talk to people all the time, and one of my first questions is, what's your niche? What's your target market? Who are your target prospects? And I've had people say things like this. They'll say, oh, everybody's my target. Well, what do? I'm a chiropractor. Anybody with a back. Well, anyone with a back is not their target market. Or, I'll have people say sometimes, well, who's your target market? Well, anyone with a car. Maybe they have a car washing business. It doesn't really matter what they say. A lot of the time, the mindset is that thinking that everybody is the niche. And it really isn't. Everyone isn't the niche. The niche is a very small group of people. So this is very important to understand this because the more narrow it is, the better it is for you. So here's a few questions that you need to answer. Number one, who is your target prospect? You need to know who your target prospect is when you go networking. Because if you don't know who they are, you're going to be talking to a lot of the wrong people most of the time. The second question is, where are they located? In other words, not where they're located in the networking group, but what networking group are they located in? Now, I believe that Network After Work, there's a lot of anyone's prospect in there because we have over 5 million members and we have a pretty diverse background of people. But, there's certain industries that there's other places that they should be networking as well. So you need to know where those networking groups are and where those industries are. That's very important. And the next one is, why should they do business with you? That is the next most important question you should answer. Why should they do business with you? What's the reason? In other words, what is your brand identity? Why should they do business with you over the competitor? That's a question you need to ask because some of the techniques I'm going to be teaching you a little later are going to help you not only answer that question, but it's going to establish you as an expert. And that's what you have to be. Nowadays, the industry is so competitive. It's so diluted in certain ways because there's so many people in that industry. There's so many people in that industry. It really, you being the brand, you being targeted in your presentation will make a dramatic difference for you. So you really got to know the answer to these questions. And then what will happen is you'll start to become a lead attraction magnet. Over the years, that's what's been my focus is how to become a lead attraction magnet. So I'm going to be going through some very specific things that I do on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, when this webinar is over, I'm going to a networking event tonight to generate business. And you're going to see some of the things today that I'm going to be doing even this evening. So the first thing you got to do when you're going to go networking, or when you're going to get leads from anywhere. It doesn't really matter where you get leads. If you want to type in there what business you're in, I'll kind of tailor this to you, but it's very important that you need to know the difference between a lead and a prospect. Let me give you the answer. The lead is simply just name and contact information. If you have a person's name and you have their address or their email address, or nowadays, you have their cell phone number or their office number, that's a great way to market your business through text. But if you have that information, that's a lead. That's just simply a name and number. But a prospect is someone you've spoken to or communicated with who is open to learning more about what you do. So they're open to it. So that means that you want to speak to prospects, and your goal needs to be to learn how to convert leads into prospects. That's one of the things that I've mastered, and the people that I've trained over the years that have become 6- and 7-figure income earners, I taught them this fact right here, is that it's kind of ironic about leads and prospects. You cannot succeed without leads. However, you cannot succeed without leads, but you're no closer to a sale with leads. It's an ironic situation. You have to have leads, but you're no closer to a sale with leads. You have to convert them into prospects. This is where a lot of salespeople really drop the ball and waste a lot of time. A lot of small business owners waste a lot of time talking to leads all day because they don't know that there's a difference between a lead and a prospect, and they've never been taught how to convert one into a prospect. So that's what we're going to be talking about here, but this is very important. So I'm kind of sticking here for a few minutes because you got to master the skill set of how to convert leads into prospects, because you've probably all heard the thing called the numbers game. Sales is a numbers game. Well, sales is a numbers game, but there's different ways to play the numbers. See, there's certain people that get a much higher close ratio than others, so their numbers are a lot lower. For me, when I've converted someone into a prospect and I speak to them, I usually have an 80 to 90% yes ratio. An 80 to 90% close ratio that people that do business with me, once I've converted them into a prospect. So that reason why that's such a high number is because I've mastered how to do that. But what most people do is they chase leads. So they get 1 out of 10, 1 out of 100. They got to make calls and calls and calls and calls, and then they wonder why their business isn't working. And it does work to an extent, but nowhere near is the top producers. Because I guarantee you the top producers don't have to go through those numbers anymore because they've learned how to convert leads into prospects. So that's one of the very important things you have to learn right up front. So let's talk about some places to find leads. Where can you find leads? Number one is you can make a list of your warm market, people that you know. Now, I don't care what industry you're in. It doesn't matter if you're a real estate agent, if you're a loan agent, if you're an insurance agent, if you run a small business. I guarantee you, if you're a florist, let's just use a florist, for example. How many people in your cell phone right now do you know or do you think may be interested in some flowers for their spouse, for a wedding, for graduation, for their boss, for their top employee? It doesn't matter. See, if they're a florist in their warm market and the people they know, some people may want what they have. Or if you're a chiropractor, let's say that's your business. How many people do you think in your cell phone right now you may have that need their back cracked or their back healed for some reason? Maybe they're in pain. Whatever it is. I mean, you think about your product. Insurance. Let's say you're in the insurance business. How many people that you are in the insurance business or that need insurance are in your cell phone? Virtually all of them. So making a list of your warm market could be a great way to generate some leads up front. The problem isn't generating the leads. Leads you can get anywhere. There's many places to find leads. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of them. That's not where the problem's coming. The problem's going to come is how to convert those leads, even if they're your friends or family, into quality prospects. And that's what you're going to learn here today. The second thing you can do is make a list of your top red apples. Let me explain what this is. I only speak to red apples. Red apples are sharp, motivated, entrepreneurial, business-minded, ready to go, positive attitude. Those are the people I speak to in business. When they come to, bad attitude, negative people that don't, look at life as half empty versus half full, pessimist versus optimist, I kind of stay clear of that. I don't really have time. I really want to spend my time with the right people. So what I do is I make a list of those 25 red apples. And that's one of the things I recommend you could do. You sit down and look at your list, make a list of everybody you know so that you can start picking through them. But at the same time, you can talk to the red apples, the sharp people, the people that may need what you have. They may not necessarily be that sharp, but let's say you own a dry cleaner, people that you know usually wear suits or that go out to dinner or, the spouse dresses nicely and things like that. That would be those would be red apples. So you have to think about your business. You know your business better than I do, so write that down. And that's one of the things you could do. Another one, businesses that you do business with. Business that you frequent. Like let's say you do go to a dry cleaner near your home. Then you do business with that person, so you should write them down because if you're doing business with them, you should be open to be able to share with them what you do. So business that you do business with. The grocery store, maybe that's the case. Maybe you can go develop a relationship with the managers there since you shop there all the time. You should be able to talk to them about what you do if it's something that's in your need. Or, what businesses that you work at or you go to or if you buy clothes all the time, wherever you do business with, you should be able to talk to the owners or the management about what you do. That's another place to find leads. Of course, attending networking events. But these are some of the different type of networking events you can go to. There's several different types. There's the type where you sit down and there's maybe 10 or 15 of you and you're supposed to exchange leads. It doesn't quite always happen that way, but that's what's supposed to happen. That's not my type of networking events. There's a couple I like. One, I like speed networking events where you can sit around and you meet someone for 1 minute and you move to the next person, you move to the network person. As a matter of fact, we're about to implement that with Network After Work shortly. If you want more information about that, you can get together with us about it and we can talk to you about that as well. But speed networking is one type. We're at our big events, our big Network After Work events where we have 100, 200, 500 people at those events. That's great to network if you know what to say and how to say it. Another kind of networking event are chambers of commerce. You can go to any city in the country. It doesn't matter what city you're in. Every single one of them pretty much have a chamber of commerce. So if you go to chambers of commerce, that's a good networking event too, because there's a lot of business people there and executives and companies and stuff like that. Those are some. But what I would do if I were you, I'd make a list of about 10 local networking events. Frequent them, go to them and see how they are. And then pick out 3 or 4 of them that you're going to go to every week. See, if you put networking as a marketing strategy and you do it every week, especially after some of the things I'm going to teach you today, your business can grow exponentially. Attend trade shows. Trade shows are very good, especially in industry-specific trade shows for your particular industry. I don't know what industry you are in, but you do. So figure out where they are. You can Google, this industry trade shows, and I guarantee you'll find some. You'll find some where they are. I don't know, but you will know. And if it's worth it to go. I'm going to one in June about the direct sales industry. Now, why am I going to the direct sales industry? Because that's my industry. That's where my target market is going to be. It might cost me a few $1,000s. Now, all trade shows don't cost that much, but this one will. But I don't care because I know if I get one customer, that one customer could turn into tens of thousands of dollars. So it's an investment in my business. So you want to look at that for yourself. Meetup groups. Attend meetup groups. That's another good place. Go to meetup.com and you can find different meetup groups. You'll see ours on there. You'll see other ones on there as well. But that's a great place to find prospects too. Create speaking events, speaking opportunities. You can create a one sheet, which is what I have, and I created a whole system to be able to speak in front of people. I send my information out. People call me wanting to speak, either on radio. I have my own radio show. I speak on other people's radio shows. I got on other people's stages. One of the guys I train, who's now a multimillionaire, he actually invited me to come speak on his stage. So I did. I went and spoke on the stage. He's in the real estate investment industry. So get speaking opportunities. So the more times you speak, you can get leads from that. You can turn that into business. Another place to get leads, online marketing. There's free online marketing and there's paid online marketing. But online marketing is a great way to do it. So like you can go Facebook ads, you can get leads that way. You can create a landing page in the system to be able to acquire leads online as well. But that's another place to get leads. Join associations. Associations are different than trade shows because there's industry-specific trade shows, but there's also industry-specific associations. Like the real estate association. Let's say you're in the real estate business. I'm actually a member of OCAR, Orange County Association of Real Estate. So I go there. Now I'm a part of that association. I also get the database of a lot of the members. So then you can communicate with them and market to them and talk to them as well. And then you can purchase a list. That's another thing I do. Sometimes I buy lists because I have a voice broadcast system. So I help people market through their voice broadcasting. But you can do the same thing. You can buy a list. You can do voice broadcasting, or you can do email marketing, or you can buy leads. But leads, like I said, you can find leads anywhere. This is not an exhaustive list. You probably had other ways to get leads. But getting leads, it's so important to have them because you cannot convert any into a prospect until you have leads. So you're going to have multiple ways to find leads. Here's just a few. So let's talk about where the money is. Where the money is in your business, because this is something that some people had to beat over my head for a long time to figure this out. But with technology now, it really changed a lot of things and made it a lot easier to know where the money is and how to pull it out. Let me show you. Number one, it's in your email and it's in your text list. In your email and text list. It used to be just email, but nowadays texting has grown so much. Because if you think about it, you may have missed some emails. When was the last time someone texted you and you didn't look at it or you didn't open it? The answer is almost never. So that's why having email and text marketing is very important, because people will see your text message immediately. So when building your list, it's important to view them as a long-term business asset rather than a method to make a quick buck. This is for all those leads that you get. So when you go networking and you go marketing and stuff like that, you're going to get two groups of people. You're going to get one, you're going to get leads, names and numbers, a bunch of business cards, people on a list, whatever it is. You're going to get a bunch of them. The second thing you're going to learn how to do is convert leads into prospects. So you're going to get some prospects too. You're going to have leads and prospects. Those leads should go into a system, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And that's a long-term asset. Let me give you a real life example about that, because you all know what Facebook is. Well, when Facebook went public, they had not sold anything. They didn't have any Facebook ads. They didn't have anything for sale at the time they went public. But they were worth, I think it was like $19 billion. Well, why were they worth $19 billion and hadn't sold a single product to make a profit? Why? It's because they had the biggest, most detailed list on the planet. They know your name, your phone number, your address, where you live, who your friends are. They know what you did last night, what you ate this morning. They know everything about you because you tell it to them for free. People give them their information. They tell them what kind of books they read, what puppies they like. They call the favorite colors of radio, the favorite radio station. They tell everything. So guess what? They know everything about you. That's more detailed than the government. So because of that, they were worth $19 billion. See, so that's the value of your list too. Now, I hope you can get it that big, but even if you only have a few, it's better. Let me give you the sentence. It's more valuable to have a few thousand active subscribers than tens of thousands of subscribers that ignore your messages. So understand that. You want to start valuing those lists and those leads, because those can convert into prospects down the road. That's your value. That's where the money is. You want to start learning how to develop this system. Now let's ask you, is this your system right now? You have a bunch of cards sitting on your table and you kind of shuffle through them from left to right until they buy or die? Is that your system? Because I know that was my system for a long time. I had to repent, I had to change, turn around, go a different direction, and I had to put a system in place. And so you want to get away from this type of system. Not very duplicatable. So here's why you need a system. Number one, it'll save yourself substantial time, energy, and money. That's why it's so important to have a system. Because without it, you can lose a lot of money. So let's talk about a system. Some of the things you'll need. These are some of the things that I have. These are the things I have, and I also have some additional systems. But for you, just keep it simple. And you want to put these in place or get someone to help you put them in place. Number one is a CRM. You want to have a CRM. which is a customer relationship management system. It really tracks all your leads and all your contents. When you go networking, you can put them in there. You want the email and text messaging system. There's a lot of them out there, so you want to be able to figure out which one's best for you. I test a lot of them and try them out and see which ones work. A lot of the time, they'll give you a 30-day free trial. The next one is a landing page. You want a landing page so that when you market, people can land on that page and that can convert those people into a prospect. Then you want to make sure you have a website. And if your website's not branding you, or it's not branding your business or your part in the industry, in the market, then you need to get that redone and get that branded so that it's actually edifying your business. And then you got to have a sales strategy. And that's what we're going to be covering on today. Because of time, we're going to be talking about that sales strategy. Now, this sales strategy is what I've mastered, what I've been using for literally about 20 years. I've perfected it since 2000, so that's about 17 years is when I perfected it. And I've been now teaching it for a long time to a lot of people, well over 20,000 people, and a lot more now because of Network After Work. So you need to have a system. And what that's going to do is going to take those leads, it's going to convert them down to prospects, and it's going to turn into customers. Put money in your bank account. That's what we're going to be going through. So a marketing system and a sales system will do a few things for you. Number one, it'll help you stay more organized. That's the first thing it'll do for you. It'll help you focus on the money-making activities. See, in sales and in networking, there are money-making activities and there are non-money-making activities. Most people don't know the difference between the two, but you have to know the difference. And by having a correct system in place, it'll help you focus on the correct money-making activities. You have to generate more leads. So that's another thing you have to do, is you have to generate more leads on a consistent basis. And the system will help you do that. It'll help convert those leads into prospects. I'm going to teach you some verbal things you can do to convert into prospects. But with that system, once you start learning that, you can put it on email, you can put it on video, you can do it in many different things to generate those leads. Tonight, I intend on doing a video tonight with the intent to generate more leads with this exact same system I'm telling you. And then generate more sales. Of course, that's the ultimate reason why you're even on this webinar watching this, is so that you can generate more sales. And this will do that for you. It'll help you hit your monthly and annual goals as well. So you should have monthly goals and you should have annual goals. You need to know what you're shooting for, because if you shoot for nothing, you'll hit it every time. And that's not the goal. The goal needs to be to shoot for whatever your goals are, your dollar amount that you want to hit. So would you like a $1 million system like that? If you do, you can just type right in the chat, yes, I do. Yes, that's me, or whatever you want. But it's very important to understand that you got to have a system. And the system I just showed you is a $1 million system. I'm going to show you one part of that right now and break this down for you so you can really grasp it and understand what this can do for you. This is the 5-step process that I use that attracts your ideal prospect like a magnet. This 5-step process you won't find anywhere else. This is something that I've invented over trial and error for many years. I've proven with people that are using it right now that are generating 6- and 7-figure income. And I'm going to be sharing with you through Network After Work, because we've partnered together with the intent to really help you succeed. So let's jump right into it. Number one, we're going to talk about it first, and then I'm going to break it down. Number one is the warm-up. The warm-up basically gets people to like you. People in sales or marketing, or when you meet networking, they like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. You've probably all heard that before. But a warm-up will create that very, very quick. Because in networking, you don't really have a lot of time to build relationships. Well, some people do. Some people sit there and talk to them, the people they meet for 10, 20, 30 minutes, and then wonder why they're not making any money in their business. They're playing the busy game. But the effective networkers, the ones that do generate income, they do it and they get people to like you very, very fast. And that's what you're going to see today. The next thing is called an audio business card success formula. And this answers the question, what do you do? A lot of people don't know how to answer that question. But in networking, that's one of the number one questions people ask is, what do you do? In other words, what is your business? What do you do? How can I help you? That's what they're really asking. What do you do for a living? So you need to know the answer to that question and how to answer that in an effective way. Then you got to know what an opener is. The opener is a tool that I've used and I've created that convert leads into prospects. And it does it instantly. The next part is the invitation script. How to invite people to meet with you immediately. I just did a workshop a couple weeks ago, a 9-hour workshop, and I trained people these techniques on how to get people to do business with you within 24 to 48 hours. In other words, you meet them today, and then within 48 hours, they are doing business with you. You're generating income from it. So that's one of the things you got to learn. So that's very important to learn that. The next thing you got to learn is the strategy session. In other words, how to close the sale. I'm going to be teaching you some very techniques on how to do this in a very effective manner. Let's jump right into the warm-up. So the warm-up is where you are going to be meeting people with the intent to build that relationship. But in networking, a lot of times people, when they're doing the warm-up, they're kind of talking for a long period of time. Let me kind of show you how I do a warm-up. When I walk into a networking group, I'm going to say, hi, how you doing? And they say, I'm doing good. How are you? They say, fine. I said, well, what do you do? It's one of my first questions I ask. What business are you in? Or something of that nature. What business are you in? Oh, I'm in the real estate business. I sell real estate. Real estate, really? Well, how long have you been selling real estate? Well, I've been selling real estate for 12 years. 12 years, really? Wow, well, how'd you get into it? Well, years ago, my mom, she used to be a realtor. And, after seeing her doing it all the time, and she used to do really well. She was a top producer, so she made a lot of money. And I decided, when I got older, the real estate market looked good for me. I knew it pretty well because I used to help my mom out. And, so I decided to get in it. Really? So you used to help your mom. What kind of ways did you help your mom back then? Well, back then, we'd come in and stage the house, and I would come in and help bring all the furniture in, and she let me paint some of the kids' rooms to make it fun and all that. Really? You used to paint the kids' room? Did you do anything, unique with them? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I used to put stuff on the walls, and I used to print some of the furniture. I even got to pick out some of the furniture for the kids. Really? What was kind of one of the most unique things you picked out for the kids? I remember one time I picked up this bedroom set, and this bedroom set had a ladder, and it was like a fire engine for the boy. And so he was able to climb up to the top and sleep in the fire engine. It was really cool. I picked that out for them, and they loved it when the kids would come over, and that would help sell the house so much easier than anything else. Oh, really? You see? Okay, so let me just show you what I'm doing. I know I'm doing a little role play by myself, but that's exactly what happens when I go networking. Nothing different. So if you notice what I was doing, I'll give you a couple tips here what I was doing. The first thing you want to have in the mindset is that if you want to appear interesting, be interested. See, one of the big mistakes a lot of people in networking or in sales, they go networking, and they're really not interested in the person they're meeting. They're interested in trying to sell them something. They're interested in trying to get their information so they can email them something, but they're not really interested in the person. Remember, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So the way they know, like, and trust me, because I'm listening to what they say. So one of the techniques you got to do is you got to learn how to listen. So I'm going to give you some very specific things. Number one, you got to be first to draw. Now, what does that mean, first to draw? Remember back in the day when they used to have cowboys and Indians, and they'd have the two guys come up next to each other and standing about 50 feet away, hands near their gun, and then they draw, whoever the first to draw, what ends up happening to the second guy? He's dead, right? So now you don't want to be going to networking groups, killing people or anything, of course not, but you do want to be first to draw so that you can actually know what they do first and you can get them talking. The goal is to get your prospect talking for a short period of time. Now, if you notice when I was doing that warm-up, it really lasted about 1 minute, maybe a minute and a half or something. No big deal. But the whole point is you don't there for an hour. But in that 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, I got that person to like me because I listened to them. So let me give you an example. I asked a question, what they do, then I actually listened to what they said. I call this active listening. See, there's some people that say, hi, how are you? I'm doing fine. How are you? What's your name? My name is Stephen. What's your name? My name is John. 5 minutes later, what was your name again? because they weren't really listening. They weren't really active listening. They just, said a common response, but really didn't listen to what they said. But here's how that prospect knew I was listening. Because virtually everything they said, I asked a question based on what they said and not what I was thinking of saying. I wasn't trying to qualify them. What I'm doing is I'm getting them to like me. That's it. That's all I'm doing. So in other words, when I'm talking to them and I say, what do you do? And they tell me what they do. I say, oh, really? You're a realtor. If they said I'm a realtor, I say, wow, that's interesting. You're a realtor. If I could have said, oh, really? How long have you been a realtor? I could have said that. If they said, well, I own this, coffee shop down the street, and, we sell premium type coffee that's from, Korea. I'm just making something up. We sell premium coffee from Korea. I'd say, Korea? Really? What made you get coffee from Korea? I thought it came from like Colombia or somewhere. And they said, oh no, Korea has some of the best coffee there is on the planet. Really? I didn't know that. How'd you find that out? How did you find out it had the best coffee on the planet? Well, I found that out because my great grandmother was Korea, and over here, 40 years ago, she used to bring coffee, and they used to sell it like crazy all over the place until, of course, the big boys came in and started making these coffee shops, and they kind of put a lot of us out of business. Really? They put you guys out of business? So what happened? What'd you guys do after you went out of business? Oh, by then, I just said, when I was young, when I grew up, I was going to start it all over again. So you see what I did? I just got them talking. And it wasn't talking about their business. It was just talking about them. See, people do business with the people that they like, know, and trust. And so by me listening, active listening to the words that are coming out of their mouth, and they now know I'm listening. So what I'm doing is two things here. Number one, I'm getting them to like me. Number two, I'm obligating them to listen to me now when it's my turn to talk. Because that process, usually I can get it to go for a minute, 2 minutes. I can get it to go for an hour. I've done that before too. But in a networking situation, you want to find out quickly if this is your prospect. And by asking these questions, you'll know. You'll also know if it's a red apple, if you like them. If someone has a bad attitude, don't really want to talk, I may not even want to do business with them anyway. And I just kind of get out. I'll say, oh, really? So here's how I turn it around. I'll give you something funny here. When I'm doing that warm up with someone, and let's say they're not my prospect, they're not someone I want to, try to get as a client or whatever. I would say, I'll throw it around. I'll turn it around. I'll say, so tell me, who's a good customer for you? I'll see if I can keep my ear open for them. Oh, a good customer for me is this and that. Okay. Well, while I'm walking around, I'll keep my ear open for you and see if I can find something for it. Great. That's awesome. Well, it was nice to meet you. And I'm gone. Real simple. It's polite, nice, but still I can tell instantly by this warm-up. This warm-up is one of my secret sauces that I usually don't teach a lot of people with my team, but I want to make sure, you guys here get this because this makes a big difference. It's that little thing that makes a big difference. So let's keep going though. So I kind of did this part already for you. I already did a little role playing on it, but one of the things you want to do is role play that because it's a skill. Everything I'm teaching right now are skill sets. So, you're going to have to practice doing a warm-up. It doesn't just come naturally because most people really don't care about people. But you got to care about people if you want them to care about listening to you. That's a mindset. The next thing you want to do is you got to know your ABCs. Now, what is an ABC? It's an audio business card. Most of you are familiar with what's called a 30-second commercial or a elevator pitch. I don't do any of those types of things. I don't do an elevator pitch, nor do I do a 30-second commercial, because those are basic 101 sales training. I learned that when I was 18 years old. And, they do work. A lot of people still teach it and do it. But what I teach is a technique called an audio business card. This gives people the ability to, it's a formula and it's a system that gives people the ability to attract people, no matter what industry they're in the same room. Because a lot of the time when you use a 30-second commercial, it's usually like a jingle or some sentence that you say it over and over and over. You say the same thing all the time. But that may not attract everyone. What I do is I use an audio business card that can attract anyone at any time. Here's an example. I went to Network After Work. I went to that one a few months ago. And at that particular one in Los Angeles, it actually had about 700 people that day. I didn't know it had 700. It was abnormally crowded, and I didn't realize those 700 until I was told later on after the fact. But that day, in 2.5 hours, I was able to book 14 appointments in my calendar that turned into $22,000 in profit in my bank account within 48 hours using what I'm about to show you right now. So this technique can tremendously help you grow your business. So let me show you how it works. Give an example of one. So let's say I was talking to someone, or let's say I am a mortgage loan officer. I'm gonna give you some examples that way, and then I'll show you mine. So let's say I'm a mortgage loan officer, and someone asked me what I do. So let's say I'm talking to a person asking what they do, and they say, oh, I'm a business owner. I own a company over here and such, and I do the warm-up. I let them warm up. Then when they say to me, so what do you do? What I would say is I show people who own a home or are looking to buy a home loan how to save $10,000 in their mortgage loan so they can use it to furnish their property or put it in savings. I could say that. I could use 10 different openers or 10 different audio business cards with this one particular topic. But that's what I would say. It's, instead of saying I'm a mortgage broker, that means nothing. What they asked me is, what do I do? They didn't ask you what's your title. That's what most people answer when they answer the question, what do you do? They say, I'm a realtor. I didn't ask you what your title is. I asked you, what do you do? Well, if someone asks me if I'm a realtor, what do you do? What I do is I provide people that are interested in or that are looking to purchase a home or get out of a home for whatever reason. I show them how to do it fast and effectively without spending a lot of cash and saving a lot of money. Well, really, how do you do that? That's my automatic response I'm looking for. How do you do that? I'm looking for how do you do that, or tell me more, or I need that myself, or we need to get together. Something to that nature is the response I'm looking for. Anything other than that usually doesn't work. But I'm looking for someone to have a positive response to what I just said. That's how I know my audio business card worked. Here's a couple more examples. Let's say I'm an investor, a real estate investor or a business investor. And I meet someone, they say I'm a business owner. They say I'm a chiropractor or whatever. I say, well, what I do is I show business owners how to get a 30 to 100% return on their cash so they can grow their retirement funds. Oh, really? Well, how do you do that? I have a system in place. Write that down. The answer to the question, how do you do that? Or tell me more. I need to know more about that. Or how does it work? I would say I have a system in place. That's the answer. So that's what you do. You show business owners. Now, if I was talking to a single mom, I would say what I do is I work with single mothers and people that stay at home or work from home, how to generate an extra $5,000 to $10,000 a month, or I would show them how to invest a small amount of cash and grow that so they can save more money for retirement. That could be the way you say it. It doesn't really matter how you say it. What matters is learning how to target the right person. Here's another audio business card. Let's say I'm an insurance agent. What I can say is I show business owners how to give additional benefits to their employees at no cost to the owner so that they can retain their employees longer and reduce their business taxes. Imagine you're a business owner at a networking group, and I came up and said that to you. What would you say? Well, how do you do that? I want to know more. Tell me how I can reduce my taxes and keep my employees longer. Sure, no problem. Well, it's really awesome. We actually have this cool system in place. So that's the next step. The next thing I'm going to teach you is what I do right after that. But this is very important to learn. Let's say you're in the direct sales or network marketing industry. I deal with a lot of people in network marketing. As a matter of fact, network marketing companies either license my platform or they hire me to come in and put the trainings together. So let's see, give an example. Let's say weight loss. Let's say I sell a weight loss product. What I do is I show women, or if I'm talking to a man, I'd say I show men how they can lose 10 to 20 pounds in the next 30 days without diet and exercise so they can have more energy and feel great about how they look. What are they going to say? Well, how do you do that? Tell me more. I need to know more about that. Yeah, I need to lose 20, 30 pounds myself. They're going to say something. So I never answered them what company I'm in. I never answered them what my name. I didn't even tell my name yet. I may have done that already, but I didn't tell my business name or anything of the sort because you are your business. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're a sales professional, you are the business. The business company is just your product supplier. Think about that. If you're in a direct sales company, network marketing company, you have all these vitamins or whatever, that's your product supplier. That's who supplies your product. You're the business. So it's very important that you establish that using the audio business. So what you want to do is when you get home, you want to practice these, learn them, and use them. You want to mix them up for yourself. So that's one of the things you want to do is you want to role play them when you get home. So find a partner. Maybe you find a partner that you do know first, and then you can down the road find someone you don't know. You know, you want to practice on a real live human being. Practice. Then you want to practice the audio business card as often as you can, and role play. You know, kind of like what I just did, but do it with someone. Role play them, practice them, get them down pat so they just roll right off your tongue. Then when you go out networking, this skill will be simple to do. This is a cool statement from Bruce Lee. He said, "I feel not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I do fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." That's powerful. In other words, you got to master the fundamentals. And what I'm teaching you right now are the business fundamentals to be effective at lead generation and how to convert those into prospects and sales. So the only way you're going to get there is by practicing. The next technique, this is the second part to it. I'm sorry, this is the third part to the system. The first part was you have to do a warm-up. Part two is you got to do an audio business card. That answers the question, what do you do? And the third one is the openers. This is the actual technique that converts leads into prospects. So you're not wasting time with the wrong people. And what this does, it opens the door for the opportunity to do business with you. That's what this does. So let me break it down for you. I'll give you a few examples. One of them is, are you open to? That part is the opener. The underlined part is the opener, which is, are you open to? So you could say, are you open to additional ways of making money? Let's say you're in the direct sales industry. Or let's say you're a hiring manager and you're going to hire some people. Are you open to additional career opportunities? Are you open to additional ways to lose weight? Are you open to additional ways of saving money for your retirement? Are you open to additional ways? Are you open to learning more about this real estate market and why people are selling their house like crazy? It doesn't matter what you say. You just use the opener. Because here's what happens. Either they're open to the information you just said, or they're not. If they're not, I say no problem. Next. And I go find someone who's open. See, what most people are doing, trying to make presentations to people that are not open. That's why they have to play the numbers game of 1 out of 100, 1 out of 200, 1 out of 50, whatever the numbers are. Because they're not asking people if they're open. Let me give you a little secret here. Never use the word interested. Interested will cut down your sales percentage by 100 to 200% over using openers. Here's why. Because when you ask someone if they're interested in something, that's a decision-making process. See, I have to make a decision if I'm interested, but as soon as I know, as soon as I say, if I'm interested, that means the next question is, are you ready to buy? That's almost a closing question. And the customers know this in advance. So when you use the word interested, what it does, it gets people to say, no, I don't think I'm interested. You see, but if you say, are you open? Yeah, I'm open, but I don't know if I'm interested. I'd say, yeah, I agree. I don't know if you're interested too. That's why I want to find out if you're open to look at it. Yeah, I'm open to look at it. Okay, great. That's all you want to do is show it to them. They may be open to look, but they don't know if they're interested. Well, how could they know if they're interested? They haven't seen everything yet. They don't know what you do. They don't know how your product works. They don't know the benefits for them. So how could they possibly be open? I'm sorry, how could they possibly be interested? Now, lay down someone that's just really eager and, will just say yeah sometimes. But for the most part, most won't. That's why you got to learn openers. Here's a second type of opener. Have you ever considered? So that's the opener. Have you ever considered? And here's an example. Have you ever considered getting involved in a home-based business of your own? Maybe that could be the opener. Or have you ever considered Looking at why the housing market is booming right now. No, I never even thought about it. Why? Is it doing real well? Absolutely, it's doing real well. And if you're open to it, I can show you a way of how to, get the top dollar for your property right now, because people are standing in line to buy them. Really, is doing that again? As a matter of fact, it is. Are you open to getting a free home buyer strategy session? Yeah, I'm open to that. Okay, great. Well, I don't know if I'm interested in selling you. Yeah, I don't know if you're interested in either. I just want to see if you're open to looking at the strategy and see why it makes sense. Yeah, I'm at least open to that. See how that works? This is powerful, you guys. Nobody teaches this stuff. This is something I literally invented by trial and error and mastering the right words to say and how to say it. So are you open to? And have you ever considered? The third is, do you keep your options open? That's the opener. Do you keep your options open? So here's how it sounds. Do you keep your options open to additional career opportunities, or do you see yourself working here for the next 5 to 10 years? That could be a good one for people in network marketing or direct sales or something like that. Do you keep your options open to additional benefits that you can offer to your employees? Let's say you're in the insurance business. Yeah. Do you keep your option open to additional marketing strategies to grow your business? Yeah, I keep my options open. What are they going to say? No, I don't want any different marketing strategies. I'm not interested in marketing my business anymore. Who's going to say that? Very few will ever say that. And if they are, they're definitely not a red apple, so then I'm not going to be talking to them anyway. You see, so these openers are so powerful. So I'll give you an example of how it would roll. I meet someone at a networking group. I say, hi, what do you do? And they say, oh, I'm a carpenter. A carpenter, really? Tell me about that. So in other words, you put carpet down, or what exactly does a carpenter do? I know a little bit about them, but what exactly do they do? Yeah, a lot of people don't really know either. Not only do we do the carpeting, we do the ceiling, we do this, and blah, 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 whatever a carpenter does. And I ask them questions, I do a great warm-up. Then I'd say something like, well, yeah, in my business, I do something completely different than that. Oh, really? Tell me more about that. What do you do? I said, well, what I do is I work with, people that work with their hands, maybe that work in the real estate industry, and I show them how to increase their business by 200 to 300%, so that they don't have to spend a lot of money on advertising to get new customers. What's that carpenter going to say? Wow, that sounds interesting. Well, how do you do that? And I'm going to say, well, it's really cool. I have this awesome system in place. But have you ever considered, some additional ways to generate new business for your company? Well, yeah, I've considered it. Why? Is that what you do? Matter of fact, that's exactly what I do. I work with, people in the real estate industry, roofers, painters, carpenters, stuff like that. And I show them how to generate twice as much business in half the time without putting a single dime out of their pocket. Wow. Well, yeah, I'd love to know more about that. Okay. And then I would do the next step, which I'm about to teach you. So you see how this is all coming together? It's a system. And it's a system with the intent to generate new business. So with the openers, you want to practice those too. So you want to practice them because you're going to want to roll. And if you notice that last one, I kind of rolled from an audio business card to an opener, back from an opener to an audio business card. You got to mix and match them. But the way you learn them is by practicing them over and over and over again. So you want to practice them. Are you open to? Have you ever considered? And do you keep your options open? That's the openness. The next part is the invitation. This is where you invite people to see what you do. You have to invite them. Now, an invitation can mean different things to different people. So we're going to go over a few things to invite. And what it means to invite is kind of like making an appointment. I don't like using the word appointment. I like setting up times to get together so people can understand more about what I do. Or I set up time to get together with people to see more about what you do and see how we can work together. I don't make appointments because in the mind of a prospect, an appointment takes a long time. They're going to be sold something. People have to block out time and stop doing something else. I don't book appointments. As a matter of fact, I teach how to not have to book appointments and get a much higher yes ratio also. But for the sake of time, I want to show you here some places that you can go and where you're going to invite your prospects. Maybe you can invite them to your office. Maybe that's the type of industry you're in. People come to your office to do business with you. So maybe you're going to invite them after they are open. The second thing you can do is invite yourself to go to their office. Maybe you're booking, this would be called booking an appointment to go meet someone. So but I call it an invitation. You invite yourself to their office and they say yes. The next thing is maybe you're going to invite yourself to their home. Maybe the industry you're in, you invite people to your home. The third thing is to a restaurant or a coffee shop. So maybe you're going to invite them to a coffee shop so you can do a presentation with them. Or maybe you're going to invite them to your live event. I invite people to my live event. As a matter of fact, this exact system, I just did this system in December. In about 1 month, I didn't spend any money on advertising really, but I went and I did a lot of networking, and I filled a room for about 45 people. Those 45 people turned into about $60,000 in profit in my bank account within 48 hours of the end of that event. So how did I do that? Exactly what I'm teaching you. But so you can invite people to your live event, to a webinar, like we just did. We just invited you to a webinar. You can invite people to that. To a one-on-one meeting. Maybe you're going to do a one-on-one at a restaurant or at a store, a restaurant or a coffee shop. Or maybe a two-on-one. Maybe you're going to bring your manager with you, your supervisor, your closer, your upline. You may have to bring someone with you. So that's called a two-on-one. Or maybe you're going to invite them to a strategy session. That's what I like to do. I like to invite people to strategy sessions so I can demonstrate what I do and see if we even can work together. Because I don't work with everybody, and so I need to find out that, so I use a strategy session. But you know your business better than I do. You figure out where you're going to invite someone to. And then I'm going to now show you the 5-step strategy session formula so that you can build your own strategy session. So let me break this down for you. Their goals. So you need to ask them what their goals are. What are their 12-month goals? So you want to really think through this. What is my 12-month goals? And you break this down and you help them, you tell them you're going to help them achieve them. Then you need to know what their problems are. What are the problems that they're having? Why are they having the challenges? You know, what do we need to do to fix them? So you come up with that. Then you want to give them 1 to 3 tips of your expertise. So everyone has a different expertise. So you need to think about what you do that's exciting, that can hear them. So I'll give an example of one of my expertise. I have literally invented the formula for success in sales. I know that's a pretty bold statement, but I have it. It's called 3C M square. That's what it's called. I'm not going to go into detail with it today, but what I do is I break that 3C M square formula down for them. By the time I'm done, they know for a fact that this guy knows what the heck he's talking about, because the 3C M square is proven. I've dealt with multimillionaires. I've done with people that are, brand new in sales. I've done with owners of companies. And when I share with them the 3C M square formula, every one of them, without fail, says that is amazing. You're exactly right. That is the formula for success in sales. So I teach that. That's one of my secret sauces I teach. Then I do have another secret sauce that I go through, which is I go through a sales process with them, so they can understand what it takes to make it. In other words, I give them some tips right up front, whether they do business with me or not, to demonstrate my expertise. And that's one of the things I teach people to do, is how to create a strategy session. And this is the formula I use. You want to give them some secret sauce or something that you have or something about you that's unique. So they can say, yeah, I can go work with anyone else, but I'm going to work with you. I'll give you a perfect example. Last Thursday, I went to a networking after work event in Los Angeles. And it was one for executives. So I wasn't there really to prospect. I was there because, I'm part of the team. So I was kind of meeting people, just mingling with them, not with the intent to sponsor anyone or get any business from it. But I met this one guy, and, I just do what I do best. And I asked him, what does he do? And I let him talk, and he liked me. So I gave him a card. He had his card, but he didn't even have a card. But I had no intent on calling him because I wasn't there that night. That wasn't my intent. I wasn't in that mindset at the time. But because the techniques are so sound, the guy actually went to my website, got on my website, filled out the form saying he wants to speak to me, and then we did a one-on-one strategy session, and now we're talking tomorrow because he wants to do business with me. He wants to hire me as a coach. He's a coach. That's what he does for a living. He's a business coach, and he wants to hire another coach to teach him how to sell. But that's because I have a secret sauce. I have some techniques that are unique to me to make me stand out from any other coach. So you need to do the same thing in your business. I don't know what you do, but whatever you do, you need to find a way to stand out over everyone else in the industry. And those are some of your secret sauce and your tips that you teach them. The last part is you got to know how to close and ask for the money. This is where a lot of people fail. This is where a lot of people don't know what to do. As a matter of fact, this is the reason why this gentleman hired me. He already has goals. He knows his problem. He already knows how to build his business. He already has his sales funnel set up. He has everything. But one big thing that he doesn't have, he doesn't know how to close and ask for the money. He doesn't know how to get people to say yes now within 24 to 48 hours. And when he heard that I do that, I know how to teach that, he said, man, this is exactly his words. I've coached with a lot of people. I've called a lot of people about my problem. And no one I've talked to anywhere near as long as you, and no one knew the answer of how to help me. But I believe you do. And so that's why we're doing business. That's my secret sauce. You need to think of your secret sauce so that you can stand out from the crowd. So I'm going to give you some tips on the mindset of a closer. Because you need to have the right mindset of a closer. I'm going to give you some specifics and some things you can do. Number one, you got to have the mindset that you're helping your prospects make a decision. And the decision for me can be a yes or it could be a no. And either one of them I'm okay with. I'm just not okay with maybes. I'm not interested in a maybe. Here's why. Because a maybe is just a slow no. That's all it is. You're chasing them and chasing them, chasing them. 6 weeks later, they're still saying no. You could have spent all your time talking to red apples. But this is what most people are taught to do. Follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Well, you do need to do that until you get skilled enough to where you don't have to. Where you can help people make the decision to say yes or no. And I tell people right up front, this is how I do business. If you like what you see and it makes sense, we'll do business. If you don't and it doesn't make sense, then just say no. I'm okay with that. I'm just not interested in a maybe. So, because I'm not going to chase them. You know, if someone says no, I say, okay, no problem. Good luck with your business. Next. And I go find the next person. So another thing you want to do, you want to learn how to help people make the decision, but you also want to have the mindset that if it's not in their best interest, don't sell it to them. Whenever you're talking to someone and helping them in their business, you got to help them make the decision if it's in their best interest. Because if not, then you're a charlatan. You're a con artist if you're selling stuff to people that they don't really want nor need, especially if they don't need it. Sometimes they may need it, but they don't know they need it. That's where you're helping them make the best decision. But if it's not in their best interest, if it's not going to benefit their life, if it's not going to improve their situation, then you shouldn't sell it to them no matter what you can earn on it. So that's a mindset of a top closer. Another mindset is that they need to believe that you can help them solve their problem. They have to believe that you can help them. And the way that's going to happen is by you branding yourself, by you doing that strategy session or presentation, and you explain your secret sauce. You give them tips, whether they do business with you or not. See, they need to believe that you can help them solve their problem. And if you do that, they'll want to do business with you. The next thing you have to do is show certainty in your speech and your actions. In other words, be confident. You have to be confident that you can do it, and then they'll be confident that you can do it. People buy from confident people. People buy from people that they believe they can help them solve their problem. So the way you speak and the way you act will make the difference. So you have to have the right posture and attitude when you're talking to them. And then you have to love people and use money versus the opposite, which is what, bad salespeople do. They love money and they use people to get it. You don't want to do that. You want to learn how to love people and use money. So like I said, when you add all these up, that's what it boils down to. You really care about the person. You care about the prospect. You care about the person you're talking to, so that when you're showing them the benefits of what they can do for them, you're doing it out of love. You're doing it because you care about them, not the money. The money will come. You love enough people, the money will come. Number 6, price conditioning. You want to learn how to price condition in your presentation. Price conditioning is a way to demonstrate the benefits at such a high level to where, and it has to be real, it demonstrates the benefits at such a high level, by the time you show them the price, they'll think it's a phenomenal deal. You know, some of the programs that I use and that people purchase from me are $10,000, $20,000. $6,000 is like an average. You know, I have less expensive things that they need if they just need branding and stuff like that. But, you know, the higher ticket items, when they buy a $20,000 product from me, it's a deal. I mean, it's a real deal because they get far more, and they know that by the time they're done learning it, they're going to earn far more than they could ever learn by not having that class. So they figure out a way to get the money. Just what I do. Now, that's not being offered here for you guys, but I just want you to understand that this is what's called price conditioning, and you have to do that in your presentation. Very important. Got to learn to use release statements. What are release statements? Release statements are statements that give people the right to say no. You want to give people the right to say no, because if you give people the right to say no, you've given them the ability to say yes. See, I don't try to get people. I don't try to convince people to do something. I want people that want to do business with me, not that I have to convince them. I had a guy the other day, you know, we did a strategy session, and the guy, you know, talked about how broke he was. He didn't have any money for anything, couldn't pay his bills, in sales, selling solar. So we were talking, and I went through a presentation with him, demonstrated what I could do for him. I said, I can absolutely help you sell that, and here's how. I gave him some very specific tips and things that he could do to grow his business. I told him the exact plan that we're going to do. And we went through my pricing, and it was a little bit more than he can handle. I said, I'm not worried about the money. I'm looking for the desire in the person, not the money. So as I went through that with him, I said, listen, I'll help you find the money. I'll show you some ways to get it. I got easy ways to help you get it. He said, okay. You know, he was getting some money. He said he was getting some money in. So after he got the money in, he called me back and said, you know, I decided I'm going to do something different with the money. I said, oh, really? Like what? He said, oh, well, you know, I decided I needed to lose a little weight, so I'm going to go join the gym and this and that. I said, okay. And then he said, but, you know, I'll be back in 6 months and this and that. He started making these excuses. I said, listen, let me just explain right up front. You don't need to give me an explanation of why you're not going to invest in yourself. If you think, you know, going to the gym and buying a membership is more valuable than what we're going to be teaching you that will be able to help you buy thousands of memberships, then that's what you should do, because it doesn't look like you're the person I'm going to be working with, because right now your mindset might be a little bit off. And I like to work with people that are going to be massively successful in their business. So you don't need to give me excuses or tell me all the reasons why you're not going to do it. Just say no. I'm okay with no. No is 100% okay with me. And so, you know, then he started trying to give me more excuses, and I had to stop him. I said, listen, save face, dude. You don't need to give me all these excuses of reasons why you can't do it or you're not going to. Just say no. I'm okay with no. And he's like, oh, okay. It was hard for him to do that, because usually people, you know, they have to give these excuses as if they're valid and they're real, and I believe them or something, but it didn't matter to me. I use release statement. I don't need anyone to do business with me. I want people that want to. If they see the value and they want to do business with me, that's who I do business with. And that's a mindset you need to have. That's a mindset of top closers, top producers. This is the reason why I have such a high yes ratio, because I don't need anyone. And that's a mindset you want to have. Next thing you want to do is let them know your qualifications. There's certain qualifications I have, and one of them is a person that's a decision maker. If they're not a decision maker and they're waffling and all that stuff, I say, just go ahead and think about it then. Just keep thinking about it. And then after, you know, we talk in 6 months and see if your business is in a different spot. If it's not, then we might be able to talk if I have time. If not, and that's one of my qualifications. The second thing is, are they coachable? You know, if they're not coachable, then I'm definitely not coaching them at any price. And that's a mindset that you have to have. is that you got to know who the right person is, the qualifications of a person, not just if they have money. That's the least thing that I look for. I don't necessarily need someone that has money. I look for someone with a desire, a burning desire to achieve something, a burning desire to change their life, a burning desire to do better, to build their family legacy, or whatever it is. I'm looking for that person. That person will find the money. See, I never worry about the money. If your desire is big enough, you'll find the money. So I look for the desire, not the money. So you got to get the person that want to buy and want to buy now. And some of the things I'm teaching you, this is how you get there. And then, of course, you want to recap the features, functions, and benefits, then ask for the order. You want to recap the features, functions, and benefits. What does that mean? See, a lot of people don't know how to sell with features, functions, and benefits. Most people sell with features and functions. They talk about what it is and how it works. What it is and how it works. What it is and how it works, and a little bit of a benefit. That's the wrong way to do it. The way to do it is you talk about features, what it is, functions, how it works, and the benefits. The benefits are what's in it for me. That's what the customer is thinking. What's in it for me? So I would teach like this. I would do it in this way. Benefits, functions, features. Benefits, features, functions. Functions, benefits, and features. So that would look something like this. Well, what I do is I work with people and I show them how to generate, 10 to 15,000 a month so that they can, put money away for savings. So let's say I'm talking to them and I get to the point where I'm about to do the closing out for the order. I say, so I just want to do a little recap with you. I just want to make sure that you understand that you're going to be getting the benefit of, you're going to generate $10,000. You're going to learn the next 6 months how to generate $10,000 a month using the system, which is the 5-step system. And what we're going to do is we're going to be implementing that on a weekly basis. So once a week, we'll be doing a coaching call that's going to, go through these techniques. And what you're going to learn is when you go to these networking groups, you're going to learn how to be very effective at attracting new prospects, getting those people that want to do business with you right now. In other words, within 24 to 48 hours, you're going to be getting people to give you their credit card right there. And the way we're going to do that is you're going to learn how to use the attraction magnet system, what we talked about. In other words, how to generate a lead, how to convert it to a prospect, how to invite. And you're going to learn how to use that, not only just in person. You're going to learn it on a webinar. You're going to learn it on email. You're going to learn it on videos. Because what's going to happen is it's going to fill your pipeline. So you don't have to go out and waste a lot of money on advertising and marketing. You see what I'm doing? I started with benefits, and then I told the features of how it worked and what they're going to get. And then the next time I did benefits again, features and functions. And then I said benefits, and then I did features and functions. And then I did a benefit, and then I did functions and features. But I'm always reiterating benefits, 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 because that's all they're hearing. What's in it for me? What am I going to get out of it? What am I paying for? What am I getting for it? They don't care about the function. They don't care how the car drives. They care that they're going to look awesome when they pull up into their new house. Or if they're dating, your girlfriend's going to love your new car, and you're going to look stylish riding down the road. They care about the benefit, not the features or functions. But the features and functions solidify the benefits. So you're going to have to learn how to do that. This is the mindset of top closer. Another thing you can do is a technique I teach is called an upfront contract. An upfront contract is a release statement. It's a big one. And it basically gives people the right to say no right up front. I mean, I tell people right up front, when they ask me, what does it cost to do this? Well, my system is really simple. I just get this amount of money right up front. And I just show you how it works. It's real simple. After I show you how it works, if you want to do it, just say yes, and we're going to get a credit card and get you started that day. For some reason, you don't want to do it, and it doesn't make sense, and you just don't want to, just say no. I'm okay with that. But please don't just tell me no, or maybe, or I need to think about it. Because that's just, an excuse. And I'm a big boy. You can just tell me the truth, okay? And they say, yeah, okay, no problem. That's good enough. And then that's called an upfront contract. And I do that in many different ways, but the gist of it is the same. So because of that, I just told them that you're going to say yes or you're going to say no. You're going to say yes or no today, and either way is okay. I'm okay with a yes. I'm okay with a no. But because of that, most likely I get yeses because my presentation will help them make the decision to want to do business with me. And that's one of the things you have to learn, is how to use an upfront contract. So like I said earlier, we're almost done here, guys. I said earlier, we're going to be talking about how to look for the desire, not the money. Here's some questions you want to ask your prospect. One of them is, why do you want it? Why do you want to do what it is that you want to do? Or why is it that you want to buy a home? Or why do you feel you need this new phone system in place? Why do you need it? So you need to know, why do you want it? Next thing you want to know is, how bad do you want it? What's the need? By having this, what's gonna do for you? By not having it, what's it gonna do to you or do to your company? You need to know how bad they want it and why. And you need to let them expand on it. They need to be able to expand on why they need it or why they want it so bad to where they're upset now. They need it. They gotta have it. The next thing is, how soon do you want it? The answer should be right now, because they wouldn't even be talking to you right now if they didn't want it right now, because they're a red apple. Through the entire system that I just taught you brings them to this point automatically. But the reason why you're asking it again, because you're about to ask for the money. So you need to ask these questions up front. And then, how coachable are you? Or that's in my case. But in your case, you may not have to ask that question. Maybe you don't coach anyone. I deal with a lot of coaches. That's the reason why it's there. But you need to know, how soon you want it, and is there anyone else? Maybe that's the qualifying question. Is there anyone else that needs to be there to get started? No, it's just me. That may be a question that you need to ask. So here's some ways to find the money. And this is very important. How do you help people find the money? I'm going to give you some tips, some ways to do that. Because like I said earlier, you don't need the money, you need the desire. You're looking for the desire in the person. That's what makes the difference. So number one is credit cards. Some people, you just ask them, what credit cards do you use? Here's a way that I use, or verbiage I use, to get people to let me ask them some questions. So when I ask them, so is this something that you really want to do? Yeah. Well, if I can help you find the money, are you ready to get started? Yeah, if you can help me find the money. Here's the next question. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about your finances? If they say yes to that answer, which I've never, ever had a person say no, then you start to ask the question. So what credit cards do you use? Visa, MasterCard, American Express? Yeah, I got a Visa and I got a MasterCard. Okay, well, let me ask you, what's the balance on your Visa? $500, okay. What's the limit? $2,000. Okay, great. Well, here's the great part about it. It's only $1,000 for the program, so we found the money. And here's what I mean. See, the bank is now going to be able to pay for this for you. We put it on a card today. We go to work and start doing whatever it takes to make this happen in your business. Everybody's business is different. But for me, I would say something like, well, what I'm going to do is show you how to do this, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And hopefully within the next 30 to 90 days, we'll be able to get that card paid off. And then you only paid a little bit of interest. No big deal. You might pay 20, 30 bucks in interest. But now you have the skill set to be able to grow your business. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Great. So how do you spell your last name? And you start to enroll them into your program. That's one way, credit card. But you can do the same thing with check. What about your checking account? How much do you have in your checking account? Only about $9,000. Okay. Well, the program's only $1,000. So guess what? We found the money. You'll be amazed how many people have the money in their bank account sitting there, or on a credit card sitting there, but they don't think they can spend it. See, for some reason, they're not putting two and two together. Here's another little option for you, something really cool. PayPal. PayPal is a thing called PayPal Credit, which means sometimes I have a client, and if they want to get approved right away, I can literally, while I'm talking to them right there in the room, I could send them a PayPal link. They could click it, and PayPal, if they have decent credit, they can get approved from anywhere from $1,000 up to $35,000 in 10 seconds online, very, very quickly. PayPal will pay me instantly in my account, and they can have no payments for 6 months with no interest. So there's no reason why not to do it if you have a decent credit line. There's another one, Behalf. That's another financing program for easy business loan, short-term business loan, 90 days. You can go in, get $1,000 if you get approved, and then it'll pay your vendor or whoever, it'll pay you, and then your customer has to pay them back over a period of time. So you don't have to be the bank. Savings. It's amazing how many people have the money in savings, If you ask for it, well, how much do you have in savings? Oh, we only have 30,000 in savings. Okay. Well, the program's only 1,000. Guess what? You found the money. And let me show you why. And then you explain why it makes sense. The next thing is OPM. OPM stands for other people's money. In other words, there's business professionals. Maybe you have a business partner that might loan it to you with a short-term loan with interest. Other people's money. I have a friend that I trained how to use these techniques, and this guy had just went into foreclosure. He had no money at all. I had to even put him into the business, but I told him, if you follow me and I show you exactly what to do and how to do it, it'll change your whole financial life. Let me tell you what he did. He put all the stuff in practice. The OPM was big for him because he didn't have any of his own money. He had no friends and family that would listen to him or support him. So he had to use other people's money. And we were in the real estate business. Right now, he owns about 200 real estate doors, over 100 transactions he's done. And he's done all the real estate deals with no money and no credit. He uses a single dime of his own money, but owns over 200 properties. How did he do that? He used other people's money. He had to. So once he learned that, life is totally different. Maybe if you just need a little bit of money, maybe you have a bunch of junk in your garage, or I won't call it junk because one man's junk is another man's jewels. So maybe you have a bunch of stuff in your garage that probably doesn't need to be there any longer. It's probably been there way too long already. But you know what? If you do a garage sale, I mean, I've sold $3,500 of stuff at garage sales. There's been times that I got stuff from other people's garage. I called my friends up and said, hey, you got a bunch of junk in your garage? They said, yeah, I want to get rid of it. Great, I'll come pick it up. Pick it up, sell it at your garage sale. And if you need the money, or if your clients need the money that bad, recommend it. So you have to be the expert in ways to find the money. I'm just giving you multiple options. Maybe you can find someone that can sponsor your customer. Maybe they have someone that will sponsor them. Maybe they have a friend or a family member, someone that has a lot of money that will sponsor them to, do your program or buy your product or service. That's another way. Craigslist is another big way. Maybe they have some higher end stuff in their house. Like they may have a couch that, needs to go, or they have a watch or something, or some old cell phones sitting around that they can put on Craigslist and sell for $50, $100. That adds up. You get 10 of those deals, you got $1,000 right there. There's ways to do it. The next one is love money. People that love you, your friends, your family, people that will support you through thick and thin, is love money. So you want to be able to ask, or get your client to ask, some different ways to find the money. You're a consultant with them. I don't care what the product you sell, you're still consulting with them. So what you want to do is you want to be able to sit down with them, go through these processes and help them find the money. Because once they find the money, they'll do business with you and they'll be fired up they did. So those are the test techniques that I wanted to share with you on, how to grow your business and network like a pro. And that was a lot more than just networking, but I hope you understand what we just went through. We went through some powerful techniques that can tremendously help you in your business. Again, we have that chat feature up there. If you have any additional questions, if you have any questions at all, please type them in the chat right now. I do want to answer those questions that you have. Any questions whatsoever, I can answer for you. Again, this will be recorded and put into Network After Work, so you can go back at any time and listen to it. But any live question that you have right now, since I have you on the line. Anyone else? If not, I do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being on today. And we look forward to seeing you at our next Network After Work event. Goodbye, everyone.